Welcome to this episode of the Sports Detective Podcast Show. My name is James Williams, and today Miami Heat fans have officially turned on Jimmy Butler and are calling him a quitter. So, as you guys know, Jimmy Butler basically requested a trade from the Miami Heat. This was something that has been bubbling up for about a year now, knowing that Jimmy Butler has a player option at the end of this year for $50 million. He obviously wants an extension. The Miami Heat do not want to give him an extension, and it's gotten to the point here where Jimmy Butler has requested a trade, and the Miami Heat are expected to deal him to probably a Western Conference team within the next week or two. And to kind of show you guys how Miami Heat fans are responding to this, there was a artist in Miami that redid one of his murals of Jimmy Butler. And I'm going to go ahead and show you this news clip here from that mural and kind of describing how this artist changed it, because I do think this kind of reflects how a lot of Miami Heat fans feel about Jimmy Butler. I'll go ahead, I'll show you guys this video, and then we'll come back on the other side and I'll talk about this whole Jimmy Butler situation, because it's kind of a lot more of a mixed reaction to all of this news with Jimmy Butler than I originally expected when all of this stuff has been kind of boiling over the last few days. So we'll go ahead and play this clip and then we'll talk about it.
To the controversy between Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat is now showing on the walls of Wynwood. It comes after the Miami Heat star was suspended for 7 games by the organization for conduct detrimental to the team. Now, this is a look at the reimagined Jimmy Butler mural at the MLK Mural Project in Wynwood. It displays several changes, including a sticker saying clearance trade on his jersey and a headband that reads, "I quit." Butler has asked to be traded after saying he lost the joy of playing in Miami. The Miami-based artist responsible for these changes, Kyle Holbrook, is behind several projects in the Wynwood area, including a mural of Dwayne Wade.
Okay, I don't know what you guys thought about that mural. I thought it was kind of funny. But let's talk about this Jimmy Butler situation, because I saw Stephen A. Smith go on First Take last week and talk about how the Miami Heat haven't done enough for Jimmy Butler, and Jimmy Butler had been going to the Heat the last few off seasons and trying to get Pat Riley to make, Butler is going to the Miami Heat the last few off seasons, trying to get them to make a big move, and nothing ended up materializing over the last few off seasons, and that is why Jimmy Butler has requested a trade. And kind of there's like this perception of like, oh my God, the Miami Heat have failed Jimmy Butler. And I saw Dan Le Batard basically say the same. Now, that was the first time I was like, oh, that's Stephen A. Smith. I'm really going to like not really know if I want to take that opinion or that take as seriously as I might. But Dan Le Batard, Miami guy, big Heat fan, guy that kind of knows a lot more about the Heat than me, or a lot of people talking about it, also kind of had a similar response, talking about how Pat Riley had failed Jimmy Butler or had not gotten him the help that he needed. Now, this is something that I'm very, very confused about with this whole Jimmy Butler Miami Heat thing. And it's kind of amazing to me how Jimmy has done this job to kind of redo the narrative of, one, how he got to Miami, and two, how things have played out since he got to Miami. So first off, it's made me so mad when I go back and I listen to people. It's like, yeah, remember when the 76ers picked picked Tobias Harris over Jimmy Butler? Those idiots. Those guys are stupid. Guys, that is something that Jimmy Butler said in a post game after they beat the Sixers, and it's a narrative that people have run with without actually going back and doing the research on this. Jimmy Butler did not want to return to the Sixers. That is the truth. He did not want to return to the Sixers. He didn't like how Ben Simmons had the ball a lot and he didn't have the ball. He didn't like Brett Brown. He even has a quote saying, like, when we were in film sessions, I don't know who was running it. He had no respect for Brett Brown. He didn't have any respect for the Sixers front office because they had fears that they didn't know how they were going to control him. And frankly, Jimmy Butler wanted to be the number one option on a team and compete for a championship. And when he went to Miami, that was a big move. And it's not like, hey, they only had cap space for Tobias Harris and Jimmy Butler. They actually could have kept both of them. People forget that. They could have kept both of them. Instead, they used the cap space. They got Tobias Harris, and then people forget they also got Al Horford. Remember the Sixers paid Al Horford, and that was a horrible fit with Embiid and Simmons, and that only lasted 1 year before they traded him to Oklahoma City, and then eventually he found his way back on the Celtics. So, first off, that's the first thing there too, and secondly, dude, that's what the money's for. That's why you're getting paid a max contract. You're supposed to be the guy. And I actually think the Miami Heat have done a very good job of building around Jimmy Butler. And Jimmy Butler has been a good job of being a number one star. They have Bam Adebayo on their team, who's a multiple time All Star, a gold medalist, and not just like a Tyrese Halliburton gold medalist. He was a vital member of Team USA. He's also a 5-time defensive, all defensive team that probably maybe will win a defensive player of the year at some point in his career. Bam Adebayo is a great two-way star in this game. Tyler Hero won Sixth Man of the Year. They also, a few years ago, before Kyle Lowry officially became washed, they got Kyle Lowry on their team. He was an effective player for them. They've been able to find diamonds in the rough like Caleb Martin, like Duncan Robinson. Maybe Duncan Robinson's a little bit overpaid now, but Duncan Robinson, Max Strus, Caleb Martin. They've been able to find good players over and over and over again to give the Miami Heat a chance to compete. The Miami Heat just a few years ago, with Jimmy Butler missing 25 games in the 21-22 season, with him missing 25 games, became the number one seed in the Eastern Conference. Since Jimmy Butler got to the got to the Miami Heat, he's missed 15 games in 1920, 20 games the next year, 25, 18, 22, and 11 games out of 33 so far this year. That is the reason that Pat Riley doesn't want to give him an extension right now, because he's not staying on the court. He's not healthy on the court. This past offseason, when Jimmy Butler's like, oh my God, the Celtics and the Knicks and whoever else in the East is so lucky that I was out, man, because if I was in, oh boy, I would have just wrecked through you guys, man. And Pat Riley's like, dude, like, it's kind of like sad that you're saying that because you're not on the court. You got to take some of this stuff more seriously. You're an aging star in your 30s, and you want a contract extension that the Heat don't want to give you because they don't want to keep going into the play-in every single year while paying you $50 million a year or $60 million a year, which is what you want. That is why. It's not because the Heat, he wants to leave because the Heat haven't put enough around him, bro. No, that's not what's going on. He wants a contract extension. The Heat don't want to give him one. It's as simple as that. And people were talking about like, oh my God, they didn't give him enough help. I'm trying to go back and think about the stars that they could have gotten on the Miami Heat. And really the only big one that was like really public that they were in the running for and just simply didn't have the assets to pull it off was the Dame Lillard trade. Like that's the only move really. And if we're kind of looking back on it, like I think if they have Dame Lillard, if they say let's do revisionist history. If they have Dame Lillard on their team last year, they're probably losing in the first round. You know why? Because Jimmy Butler didn't play. Maybe they have a better regular season. I don't know. But they would have gotten knocked down the first round because Jimmy Butler didn't play, because he's missing games every single year. He hasn't made an All-Star game since 2022. It's been 3 years for that. Is he still a productive player? Yes. But I don't know if I don't know if I want to be in the Jimmy Butler business right now, because you're going to have to pay him. And two, I think they're with the money that you'd be paying him, I don't know if he's going to be any sort of piece with any team that he'd go to, whether that's the Warriors or the Rockets or the Suns, that would really propel that team to becoming an NBA title contender. I think at the money that he is making, I don't know if I'd do it right now. Again, I guess it depends what you give up. Maybe if you just have dead salary on your books or just kind of like wasted bad contracts and you're basically flipping him for bad contracts, I like that. But I don't think he's really going to be pushing the needle for anyone, making a title run so far this year. But I was kind of looking at, because right now it looks like the Phoenix Suns are making a really big push for him right now. And I saw Tom Haberstroh post an article today. And I didn't go through all the details of it, but basically what's probably going to happen with this Jimmy situation is there's probably somebody's going to have to do a three-way trade. So like the idea that he had was that Jimmy goes to the Suns, and then Well, how does that work? Because they're not giving up Booker, they're not giving up Durant, and they don't have any other contracts other than Bradley Beal that they could flip for Jimmy Butler. Well, the Heat don't want Bradley Beal, so where could Bradley Beal potentially go? Go to the Detroit Pistons. So it'd be something like that. Um, Other than that, I'm not really sure what team that would really want him. It seems like the Warriors are playing hardball. And it feels like it's going to be someone out west. I'm just not sure who yet. The Rockets seem like a logical choice, but it seems like they're really, stern about their belief that they want to have this young core play together and develop together. And they really don't want to blow it up right now for like a 36-year-old veteran that might raise their ceiling. But the Rockets aren't just concerned about this year; they're concerned about 5 years from now. So let me know of Jimmy Butler trade destinations that you guys think are possible in the comments section. I'd love to hear from you guys. And that's going to do it for this video here today. If you like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button. That way you will never miss a video on this channel. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this video. And again, leave your comment. What do you think of certain Jimmy Butler trade destinations? Because right now I'm kind of having trouble figuring out where he might go. So again, thank you very much for watching, and we'll talk to you next time.